All right, got another stalk anecdote that I was able to document and get some good footage of, so worth sharing. All right, so Saturday night, the December 9, 2023, this past Saturday, I went to my dad's basketball event. He hosted the Invite at Calvin, high school boys basketball event. It was like the Catholic Central Northview game was the final game of the night. So I had gotten back to my spot, and I had just gotten in from I had taken Bella outside, and I opened my curtains and opened my slider door to step out onto my porch and turn my lights on. And there was this middle-aged white dude talking to himself, standing at the end of the parking lot in a huge baggy brown jacket. I didn't think anything of it when I first saw him, but almost instantaneously that changed because he called out to me by name, and he was like, "Is that Brittany? Hi, Brittany." And I was taken aback, froze in place for a second. I was looking do I know that person? No, I don't know that person. So he's like, "May I approach?" And I said, "Fuck no," and retreated, right? I'm stepping back in my apartment. So I closed my curtains, closed my door, shut everything down, and was hoping he would just leave. And I pulled up my security cameras and saw that he was walking towards my stairwell. So I was like, all right, bet, here we go. So he comes up my stairs, stomping on my stairs, and starts banging on my door. So I'm trying to stay silent, right? I didn't open the door, and I looked through my peephole, and I was able to record what you could see through my peephole. So I'll put a couple of clips of that up. So he stayed at this for about 10 minutes, just kept going up and down my stairs and knocking and saying Brittany, Brittany, just obscene stuff, and obviously just trying to scare me and freak me out. So then he went down on the ground, laid in front of my door, and blocked my door. So, essentially I'm trapped inside. So I called the cops, GRPD, and I told them there's a stranger male that just walked up and is banging on my door, and he knows my name and called me by name. He just is laying on the ground for my door. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. And they're like, "Well, does he have a weapon?" I was like, "I don't know." They're like, "Did you see one?" I was like, "No, I didn't see one." But he's got baggy clothes. I don't know. And they're like, "All right, well, we'll send an officer when one's available." And I knew immediately what that meant. It would be a minute before there was any law enforcement presence. So I was like, okay, sweet. Realistically, I didn't know if the cops would show up at all. I was not banking on them showing up. When this almost identical situation happened with David Noland coming to my door and trying to shove his way in and break in, they never showed up when I called. And then these are just the timestamps. I called 911 at 12:07. It didn't get entered into the dispatch log until 12:51, so about 45 minutes later. And then after that, the police didn't arrive for another 15 or so minutes, which honestly might be because somebody else in my complex called. I'm waiting to hear back. I FOIA requested the call log, which will allow me to see whether or not the call and incident getting entered into the dispatch log at 12:51 was just a very delayed entry of my call, or if another call was what sparked it and actually pushed it through and resulted in cops showing up. But so then after I talked to the 911 dispatcher, it was just going to be a waiting game. Anyway, so he got up from the ground where he was laying on the ground and started going back up and down my stairs and knocking, just acting a fool. And there was one time where he went down and I didn't hear him come back up. So I was like, oh, is he gone? So I opened my slider and poked my head out to see if he was down at the bottom of my stairwell. And he saw me and came out to the parking lot and started chirping at me from there. And that I tried to close the door again on him, and he came back up to my door. So in order to keep him in my line of sight and in the parking lot rather than up at my door, I needed to just stay in my I had my slider open a crack, and I just recorded him from there. Anyway, so yeah, then I'll just play a couple of the clips that I grabbed.
I don't know if you know what church means, but you don't hear it says you're baptized. It's like entry into this ideal way of thinking. Like, I think you know over here, but I'm not sure. I think you just said that was Brittany.
What?
What? Is that Brittany?
Why are you saying Brittany?
Because Brittany was one of the people that got this timetable portal.
No.
No? There's something really, really beautiful about your sadness. I can't explain it. I would never think of sadness as beautiful. I've never felt that.
And so that was obviously unnerving, talking about that I'm gonna die here in this timetable. Like,
Walk out of the main church part into the back, and then you were the only other person after I was back there for like 2 or 3 minutes. I was like, wow, it was a packed church. You burst through the door, you were the most cool. I sat there and stared at you like I don't stare at people. A lot of people think I stare at people, but I always look away. They look at me, then I look away. And I just locked eyes, and I darted down towards the neck and back to the eyes, and you were wearing this dress. You were so beautiful. I've never done that. It's so scary. I'm glad you're up there in form. You're so beautiful in this time table too. I'm very lonely. You know that I can't even hardly see the features of your face, and those nice lights are bright and they look gorgeous and pretty and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think you like the way that talk come out. But yeah, this is a magic moment. I've never actually. Is this heaven? It's just, yeah, it's cold in there. I heard that thought. Okay. I was too honest in the other timetable too. I would see my niece, and she's like 12 years old, and she's not looking like a 9 or 10-year-old. And it's like, you look at her and you see that, like, or I don't know, shy or low self-esteem thing. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, wow, you are looking very, very beautiful. Like, the air was filled with people. Like, whoa. Like, I remember being that age, and I remember, like, really selfish. And yeah, she just. I would say that to people, and they wouldn't like it. They'd be, why are you telling that 12-year-old girl she's good looking? She's your part of your family. To me, it's just like, why can't you understand that girl who is in my family? And I know this gets weird, but like, they have feelings and emotions too. It doesn't mean I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna try to force myself on her. She's a family member and she looks beautiful, and she might not have anybody that tells her she's beautiful. Hey, you look beautiful, wow. Especially if they see that smile on the face. I would want to control that. I mean, on my side, if she's like, ooh, I'd just be like, oh, that's right.
anyway, so yeah, he was saying some sick shit, disturbing shit about like his 12-year-old niece.
You are something interesting. I really like that. And yes, I said that. Okay, so I said Brittany because I have spent hours, not just on this street, but running up and down for 8 to 10 hours, I think. Without this jacket, and I'm running around anyway. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Grand Rapids? This is still Grand Rapids? This might be my death.
Hey man, police! What's going on?
Here you go.
What's going on, man?
here a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
I was downtown Grand Rapids.
Yep.
Northview.
Okay, yeah.
So apparently there's a lot of hoopla and stuff going on down there.
Okay.
And,
What are you doing here?
I got lost.
Okay.
Because I just kept walking because there was this thing going on Northview.
What are you doing here at the apartment?
This is where I ended up.
This is where you ended up? Why are you
Yeah,
knocking on
lost.
people's doors?
Why is not gonna be this?
No. That's why I got
Oh,
called
no,
here.
no. I'm sorry. I knocked on at 18.
Why?
Because I am so confused as to what is going on.
Sounds like they were concerned because you possibly knew their names, man. Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
You got any weapons on you?
no, I
Nothing?
nothing.
Okay. Okay. You wanna grab that ID for me, man? Okay.
He gave him the ID, and his name is Daniel Schneider. He's 37. And yeah, has the direct mutual connections and, ties back to the same factions that keep administering blows my way. So there's that. And he says to the cop, I was downtown Grand Rapids. There was a lot of hoopla going on. He said Mel Trotter's down there. But then later on in the conversation, the cop was saying like, oh, have you been staying at Mel Trotter's? And he's like, no, that's not where I'm staying. So I don't know why he made reference to Mel Trotter, but he's not staying at the homeless shelter. So, and even if it is that he's just a homeless dude or an addict or something that is like on the street, criminals, organized crime groups, syndicates exploit homeless people all the time. Homeless people, addicts, like that is a go-to for them. Like if you don't want to get your hands dirty, you go exploit people that are already extremely vulnerable. Like common play. He didn't walk up out of nowhere just after I had gotten home and just pull Brittany out of his ass, like, and just happen to nail it. Like that's not a thing. So we can just play hypothetical, like consider this scenario. Someone within the criminal network that has been nuking my life goes up to Daniel Schneider and tells him, hey, here's, I'll give you $50. I'll give you drugs. I'll give you whatever. You just got to go to college in Fulton and go to this apartment complex and find Brittany. There's a girl named Brittany there. Freak her out. Like, start saying her name. Drop these little pieces of information. Just freak her out. Just go find Brittany. Like, she'll be outside because, like I said, they know when I'm coming. They know where I am at. So they knew I had arrived home and that I was outside with Bella. I take my dog out every time I get home. So that's not like a hard one. And here's some examples of it happening in West Michigan. And there's also Allie Van Orden, Judge J. Joseph Rossi, 17th Circuit Court. Like Van Orden worked at Dégagé, the homeless shelter women downtown. Rossi was on the board for Dégagé. And I can absolutely categorically tell you that they were not doing it for the overall greater good. They were employed in those positions and on that board nefariously and to exploit people and be around and be in that position. So like that is a fact, no doubt. So it happens, and this is just a psychological warfare thing, like trying to make me terrified, intimidate me, scare me, like break my spirit, just like basically erode me. But unfortunately, I'm committed to surviving out of spite.